Yo, what is up guys? I'm here hitting you up with another Etheria restart video. Before we jump into the topic, quick thing in eigener Sache. If you want to join my community on Discord, link in the description below to join my Discord as well. We have a lot of people, very active and talkative community over there. So if you need help or advice, go join the Discord and have fun over there, as well as I'm active there as well. And hey, if you're new, subscribe. Now for the main topic of this video, it's all about accuracy versus resistance. There is always the topic, how much accuracy do you need? How much resistance do you need? What is the sweet spot? Why do I need a certain amount of accuracy? Why is 100% accuracy not enough? Why is 60% considered low? Why do you need at least maybe for like Inferno content over 200% accuracy, right? And this is what I want to break down, because there is a formula to the accuracy and how CCs function in this game, and not necessarily CCs, but debuffs in general. Now there are many different ways to look at it, but let's say, for example, we look at a unit like Selene, just as I think that this is just an easy way to explain it really. So here, for example, my Selene is currently at level 3 for her skill 3, so this increases the chance of her inflicting the forgetfulness and the attack down to 30%. Now this is the 30% chance to land the debuffs, but how high or how low is actually 30% in terms of all these debuffs? Because we also have Claws, right? Claws, for example, has an 80% chance to land her debuffs. So what does that mean? How do we calculate how much accuracy we need on our units to land our debuffs? Now for that simple thing, I have something prepared for you guys, the classic notepad. I am not sure if you can read it. Let me see if I can. Can I just scroll? I think this works actually fine. Let me make it like super big so everybody can see it here. Now you have this here. Now this is the general formula for accuracy versus resistance. So basically the formula is 100% minus the efficient resistance plus the accuracy times the skill chance, and that equals then together chance to land debuffs. How would that look like as an example for, let's say, a Claws with her 80%? Let's assume we have the enemy has no resistance whatsoever and we don't have any accuracy. Then the formula would be 100 minus 0 plus 0, which then is 100, and then you do that 80%, so you have times 0.8, right? And that basically then would equal 80%. Now on a baseline you have an 80% chance. Now let's assume we have maybe more. Let's say we have the enemy has still 0 resistance, right? So we do 100 minus 0 because 0 resistance, but we have 50% accuracy. So with 50% accuracy, now we have 150 accuracy. Now this thing times obviously 0.8. Now I have to use the calculator for this. So 150 times 0.8, boom, and that is 120. Now we have 120% accuracy. Now on an enemy who does not have any resistance whatsoever, 50% accuracy is already enough to land your debuff 90% of the time. Why? Because the game has an innate 10% resistance to literally everything. So it's not as bad as other games, but you cannot ever achieve 100% accuracy or a chance to land your debuffs or CC. There's always the 10% of chance that it gets resisted. That is just basic game design. Okay, now then there's also another thing, and this is basically how you need to do the math. So when we look at example for the Doki Doki Inferno, they have 120% resistance, so that's why we actually need a lot of accuracy. So when we do that, like minus 120, now we add minus 20. That's why, for example, if we now have our units plus 200, right, and then we do that exactly, so we want to build our units with 200% accuracy, right, and now we do that exactly with times 0.8. that equals, if we do that, that is minus 20, so this is 180, right? So there we go with the formula. That would be in that case high enough, because we would be at 180 and then times 0.8, that would put us at 144% chance to land debuffs. Now this is just the basic knowledge, but here's also another thing, because not every skill has like an 80% chance, right? We have also a unit, for example, like a Selene, who has a basic chance of only 30%, like upgraded 30%, right? Now the formula is a lot lower. Now when you have 100, let's say minus 50, for example, right? Minus 50 plus, let's say 150, because you have on 150% accuracy, then you gotta do that entire thing times 0.3, and that equals, then I have to calculate it as well, that would be 200 now at this point. So 200 times 0.3, and then we have 60. Now the interesting part about that, we have now 60%. Now the thing is, even if we had more accuracy in that sense, if we know exactly how much they have, and then you have to think about it as 60% times 4, because she hits for 4 times, so she has a very, very high chance to land her debuffs, because multi-hit debuffs are actually better than single hit because of the innate 10% chance of resisting. But there's also another factor that plays in this game, which is the skill chance to increase. Like, what is the maximum and what is the skill chance minimum, right? Now, as you can see here, I calculated that if the enemy has like 50% resistance and we have 150% accuracy times the 0, because we have a 30% chance, right? Now we get to 60%. Now the thing is, with the minimum, there's actually a minimum and a maximum to this, so that skill chances actually only can be doubled. Can only be doubled. That means if your skill has, for example, now the Selene, a 30% chance right off the bat as the base chance, the highest you can push that is 60%. You cannot get it over 60% because the base chance is 30%, and you can double that. Now, on the other hand, for the maximum, when it comes to the minimum, it can only be halved. Okay, so basically, if you have a 30% chance and the enemy has like 500,000 resistance and you have only like 50%, percentage of actually having a chance of landing your debuff only goes down in that specific case to 15%, and your maximum is 60%. Now, if you have a unit which has a 100% chance, now this is a different story, and 80% chance, this is also a different story. But this is more interesting for units where you have like a lower chance to land stuff, just so you know there is a maximum. That's why, for example, on a Mio, it is very powerful to get, for example, let's look at Mio real quick here, for example. Where is she? There we go. Now for S2, she has a base chance to freeze. This is a 30% chance. Now with the accuracy, we can get it up to 60%. Now, if we get her to level 3 though, that chance increases to 40%. That means when we increase our accuracy over a certain point, we have now an 80% chance to land our freezes. This is a lot. 80% is a lot higher than 60%. And if you understand that mechanic with accuracy and resistance, you understand, okay, if you look at this from a perspective, like, yeah, 40% is not really high, but now with what I just showed you, now it makes a lot more sense. And now you're like, oh, I increase my chance from a 60% if I have high accuracy to an 80% chance. Now, this is basically how it entirely works. And you also have to keep in mind, multi-hitters have a lot more chances, have a higher chance of actually landing their debuffs because also of the 10% innate resistance damage check. Yeah, and this video is already long enough, guys. This is all I wanted to tell you. Just a basic video, just the number stuff. I think this is important because I feel a lot of people also do not necessarily know about this. So this is what I wanted to cover for today. Besides that, my thoughts and stuff like that about all the other content creators, how they think and what needs to improve on the game. So if you didn't watch that video, where I just shared my thoughts on what needs to improve on the game, where the game is currently, go check it out as well. And yeah, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see you with the next one. Deuces.